Don't worry y'all, I'm back, and hopefully for good this time. But regardless, welcome back true believers and all you merry Marvelites to, yes, finally, another video on the channel. And sadly, I know I've been gone for around nearly 2 whole weeks because, let's face it, there is no news at all relating to Marvel Spider-Man 2, the biggest Marvel game that we are all currently looking forward to, even though Insomniac and Marvel, and even PlayStation, with some very recent posts from some of their other international Twitter accounts and social media pages, have still clarified that the game will without a doubt release in the fall of this year of 2023, despite the absolute silence that we have received from it ever since 2021 with its initial reveal trailer. But we are not here to talk about Marvel Spider-Man 2 today. We are here to talk about another very exciting Marvel game, one that I am very much looking forward to. But before we begin, I just want to kind of give some housekeeping and maintenance for you guys as to where I've been, what I've been up to, and what's going on with the channel. So basically, as you see kind of behind me, a different setting than what you usually have probably seen in my past videos where I use a face cam, is that I have mentioned this on Twitter and online about where I am currently placed in, but I had to move pretty much from my main home, and now I'm currently staying at San Francisco State University, attending here in person at school, on campus, living nearby, in order to acquire a communications degree, a bachelor's degree for communications, since that is my major, and I'm also minoring in video game studies, voice crack, as a way to hopefully better my chances and, you know, pursue that goal of one day, hopefully, fingers crossed, working within the gaming industry, because since that is kind of my dream, and of course, as you know, for the channel, that's the big focus as to what we talk about here relating to Marvel games, since I totally believe that is the future of entertainment with video games in general, compared to movies, TV shows, animation, which are all great in their own way, but video games is where my true passion lies, and that's just the next step I'm taking right now, while we are still doing videos on the channel and waiting for major news to drop for any of these exciting AAA superhero games. Not in the case of a game like Suicide Squad, which I have made a video about, and the recent delay that's kind of gone on with that game. But yeah, while I am still doing videos on the channel, definitely possibly expect a lack of upload, since I am simultaneously trying my best to upload as much quality content for all you as possible. Thank you so much for your support, by the way, while also still heavily maintaining an A-level grade average for each of the classes that I'm taking, in order to just give it my all while I am here at San Francisco State. So, for all you who are new subscribers, old subscribers, have stuck around ever since the very beginning, all the way back in 2016, I cannot thank you enough for all your support. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers. I can't thank you enough. And fingers crossed that by the time when we do actually hear more news for these super exciting Marvel games, I will be in your eye line as to hopefully hearing what I have to say and reporting on the news whenever a new video drops. So again, thank you for all your support. But of course, the main topic that I want to discuss for today relates to a brand new video game that this particular developer have recently released, and I, for one, have personally got around to playing it for myself from start to finish, and because of this, my excitement and interest for what this upcoming project is from this developer has pretty much increased tenfold. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I wouldn't blame you, because it's not really a game that I'm talking about on my channel that much, or a type of genre that I really find myself playing, but I am referring to the Dead Space remake, which was recently released by Motive Studios and published by Electronic Arts. And of course, if you don't know why that should be important to you, if you're a Marvel Games fan, it is because they are currently working on a standalone AAA Iron Man game, as well as even more single-player AAA EA-published Marvel games that will release after Iron Man comes out. Sadly, the game just entered, I believe, the production phase, so it probably won't even launch on next-gen consoles until, I would assume, 2025 at the earliest, or 2026, or even 2027 at the latest. That's how early they are in development with this Iron Man game. It's too early to tell what the gameplay foundations for Iron Man could be. Whether or not it's open world or a more linear structured game is still currently unknown, even though it sounds like they might be going down a linear path. But the reason why I'm making this video in general is because Dead Space, the remake, is literally incredible. I did play a little bit of Dead Space 2 when that first released way back in the day, but I couldn't actually finish it because I was so scared of the game itself and the setting it was taking place in and all the crazy necromorphs as well. But for this, I wanted to play Dead Space Remake to finally research and get more invested into the lore and game of Dead Space, but also the developer talent that Motive incorporated into the game, remaking this game from the ground up, since Visceral Games are actually the developers who made the original Dead Space trilogy, and Motive just simply took that from scratch and did their own unique twist and spin on the Dead Space game by revitalizing it from the ground up, but also including some new stuff, like Isaac Clarke is voiced in this game. There's also some new interactive stuff with the UI, brand new sections that weren't in the original game, additional story content, and a whole lot more to just, bring Dead Space to life for the next generation of gamers, or the current gen of video game consoles with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, which is exactly what they're going to be doing for Iron Man. And based on everything that I played with the Dead Space remake, I cannot wait to see how Iron Man will turn out. Not only do I thoroughly believe this is going to be a much more engaging experience than what we saw with Iron Man in Marvel's Avengers, considering that this time around it's going to be a completely solo, standalone, narrative-based game directly focusing on Tony Stark as a character and the duality that he experiences as Iron Man, which is one of the many reasons why the Insomniac Spider-Man franchise is so incredible, because it shows that duality between Peter, Miles, and their Spider-Man personas. Doing that with Iron Man is going to be insane, for one, but also the gameplay elements that surround a character like Iron Man, and also the similarities that a character like Tony Stark shares with Isaac Clarke, being a, intellectual engineer in Dead Space, but Tony Stark, of course, being super intelligent, extremely playboy, billionaire, philanthropist-esque, of course, but doing a different take on that character within his own story surrounding him and how he can evolve further throughout the narrative, and how that will also be directly implemented in the gameplay, with hopefully having Iron Man be totally unique in the sense that he can fly around, his repulsor beams, all the technology that he has within the suit, and what other types of villains that he could face alongside that during the journey is incredible. And I, for one, definitely think that Motive already proved themselves with Star Wars Squadrons, but after playing Dead Space the remake, it just shows how great of a job they're going to do with a character like Iron Man, and clearly shows the passion that they have for this character, just like Insomniac did for Spider-Man, and now with Wolverine, and even more so with Eidos Montreal and their super amount of passion with Guardians of the Galaxy. So I pretty much bring all that up to say that based on everything that I played through Dead Space Remake, and with all the extra stuff that is included within the New Game Plus mode of the game, which I haven't even touched yet, it just boggles my mind that a game like Iron Man and the other amazing Marvel games that we're getting with Captain America, Black Panther, Wolverine, and Marvel Spider-Man 2, and the other EA single-player Marvel games that are coming out, all these single-player, narrative-driven, third-person action-adventure titles is, of course, where these characters thrive the best. Marvel Games knows exactly what their audience wants, and they are totally going to deliver that with Iron Man. And based on everything that I played with Dead Space and how Motive is beyond talented in that front, with definitely making not only an incredibly immersive game and engaging narrative, but again, putting their passion at the forefront of everything that the game embodies, definitely makes this a purchase worthwhile, but also makes me even more invested as to what their vision and direct outcome for the product will be by the time we see more of Iron Man in full. I know it's a ways out. It is way, way out until we end up seeing anything new for that game. But don't fear, because we have even more Marvel games coming out relatively soon to look forward to. But by the time that we hear more information about it, I know people are totally upset due to the fact that EA is publishing it, but you can't look at it that way, because Motive are the main developers behind the project, and EA as the publisher is simply financing the project to be made. Play Dead Space Remake, you'll understand why Motive is the perfect choice for a person like Iron Man to make an entire game off of. And with all that in mind, I definitely think, based on everything I played with Dead Space, and even though we haven't seen anything of Iron Man yet, I thoroughly believe that it will be a Game of the Year contender. I felt the same way with Guardians of the Galaxy, and even though my Game of the Year for 2022 was God of War Ragnarok, I still love Marvel's Midnight Suns for what it was, and of course we're all excited for Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, But again, there's something really special going on with what Iron Man is shaping out to be, and is definitely one that you need to look out for by the time we see it in action, but definitely hear more about it from the team at Motive Studios. And with all that said, everyone, that is the video that I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. Are you hyped for Marvel's Iron Man game developed by Motive? Did you play the Dead Space remake? Because I definitely think that you should if you haven't already, because it pretty much improves on the first iteration of the game in every way. Even though it's a classic, this one is, I believe, the definitive version on how to play Dead Space. And what element from Dead Space that Motive incorporated would you want to see them directly involve into Iron Man's gameplay, the story revolving around Tony Stark, the broader Marvel games that will be made and published by EA, or if they end up doing another Iron Man game down the line after the first one releases. I know it's way too early to think about that now, but still, it engages a conversation to have in the comments, and that is what we are all here for, to stay hyped for all these incredibly awesome looking superhero games. And with all that said, thank you all so much for watching, stay merry Marvelites, and peace out.